Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Awaken Suddenly Live Quick Talk. Today, accepting life as it is still allows for change. And it is, 1:35, 1:40. You know me, I'm going to blabber on for at least a few minutes before we get right to the meat of things. So we're actually right on time. So a big loving hello to Debbie. I see Debbie is on with us today. Hello, Debbie. So nice to see you. You know, Kelly and I love you, and we think about you lots. Hope things are going absolutely fantastic. And of course, there's no other way they can really be going. Let's talk about that for a minute before we get to accepting life how it is. And actually, this plays right into accepting life as it is. And it's a little something called gratitude. And I have seen numerous Facebook posts and numerous little quotes about gratitude. And I've noticed that almost to a T, they all have to do with the things we like, the things we enjoy, the things we find beautiful. Very rarely do I see a post that says, "Today I am grateful for all the people who have done me harm." You don't see that post very often. Why not? For one, it's not like they have actually done you harm, okay? Egoically speaking, sure. It certainly feels that way. But those people are our best teachers. The very best of teachers. They offer us the largest opportunity for growth, the largest jump in our awareness is available in the hardest of times, in our deepest struggles, in our darkest perception of the night. That is where we are given the opportunity to shine the most. So this is why I say be grateful for everything in your life, not just the things that you would judge as good. Assuming you can't get past judgment. But assuming that you're still having issues with judgment, be grateful for the things that you would judge as bad in your existence, because they taught you, they helped you evolve, they gave you experience. And there's nothing like being on the raw, ragged edge to really feel alive. And that is why I am grateful for what's going on with my back. I am grateful for what's going on with my leg. I do not push it away. I'm grateful to all of creation for it. I'm grateful this has happened instead of me continue on as I was and do myself permanent damage and perhaps be paralyzed. There are so many things to be grateful for in what we would perceive as our problems. So I would say to you, be grateful for all of it. Every breath, every experience, no matter whether that breath is coming harsh and ragged as someone is beating you to the ground, or whether that breath is an exhalation in joy at the watching of the most perfect, magnificent sunset. Be grateful for every bit of the experience. It all offers you the ability to learn, to grow, and evolve. And now, since it's 1:40, and yes, I see that Debbie made a comment, issues with judgment, and that's okay. It takes time. It really does. And of course, our judgments are all based on all the things we think should be or shouldn't be, the way we've been programmed and trained, the way society's been programmed and trained. And we have to be willing to take those judgments off and make our own decisions for ourselves. And let's be clear about what judgment is, okay? Judgment is beyond the actual observation of what is and making it personal. Because that's when it becomes good or bad. It's always in relation to us. So as soon as we make that personal, it becomes judgment. Why? Because we've made it personal. We figure it's against us in some way. This is the way that we tend to be. And it's all right. It's all about growth, all about evolution. So now, let's get down to the meat of the business, because of course this is supposed to be a quick talk, and God knows Garen speaking quickly is, yeah, okay, sure. Whatever. I can go with that. Accepting life as it is. You know, this is exactly what this gratitude thing is all about. Accepting life as it is. Now that doesn't mean we can't change things. What accepting life as it is really means is you take off all the stuff that your head is putting on your existence. You throw all of that out. None of it's real. It's all stuff you're making up. It's all coming out of that collective egoic cloud of humanity consciousness, and out of all your programming and out of everything that you've been taught to believe. And all of this stuff that comes up against what's happening is stopping you from accepting life as it is. Now, this doesn't mean that when we see something that we know we need to change, that we just go, well, it just is, and walk away. That's not what that means. What it means is you accept that it exists, that it's already here, that it's happening this way right now, and that the happening is just a happening. Life just is exactly the way it is at any given moment. What you choose to put on top of that to turn that simple act of living into suffering is all up to you. And it all comes from the mind. So here's a typical example, okay? And I'll use Kelly as an example because I always like to use real world examples. Are you real? She's not answering. I'm going to assume that Kelly is real for now. So she would love to have her other two children back in her life and her grandchild, who she's never ever seen. Can you imagine what sort of a person uses their grandchild as a weapon against their own mother? You know, because really that's what that is. I mean, one of her sons is actually taking his child and using it as a weapon against his mother. So the grandchild has never had the option of even choosing whether or not it would like to meet its grandmother. These are the ways we tend to behave. But in Kelly's case, what happens? First, she has to accept that the way it is right now simply is. In other words, you drop all the drama, all the judgment, all the emotional, it's not emotional, all the feeling stuff that you're going to do to your body with the way you think over it. Because, of course, as soon as you get into thinking all the should nots and the ways it should be, you're talking about not accepting life as it is. And you're relating that to yourself. Everything is relating to ourself, even if we try to make it about someone else. And I've seen numerous members, as well as Kelly, do this all the time. Well, you know, society on the whole, or you, but never I. You know, I'm having difficulty accepting life as it is. I am not. So, how do we accept life as it is and still make change? This is the beauty of it. When you are willing to accept life as it is, in other words, you do not personalize it, you do not make it about you, you do not make it against you, you simply accept what is as already being. Then, from that objective point of view, which is a far more open point of view, because we talked about the difference between pushing up, right? And that, let's see, I've got the same book as last time, actually. So, you know, when we're pushing up against things, we're here because we need to be to push up on it, right? We there we go. We have to get our hand against it, so we have to be close. But when we accept life, we allow the things that are coming to stand off because we're not going to push up against them. We're going to accept it just as it is. When we do that, our view is more global in nature. Rather than having this myopic, really focused, narrow viewpoint of the thing that we're pushing up against in life, now we have an expansive view and we can see everything around that brought this into being, and we know where we need to take action. And because we are taking action out of a place of acceptance, our action is coming out of a place of power, of personal empowerment, personal creation. We are not reacting to what is, because reactions occur when we judge, when we personalize it. But we are instead creating anew. We are choosing, in view of what we're seeing, in view of what life has manifested, to accept it because we have been part of the creation and we too wish to be accepted by our Creator, and we are, and infinitely loved. So too, infinitely love your creations and let them go when they do not serve you. Take that overview, stand back, create again instead of react in the same old way. This is what truly allows meaningful change to come into not only your existence, but into the world today. You know, if we look at Gandhi, Gandhi accepted the way things were and then strove to change it. But he had to get past his own feelings and thoughts about it. And we see that in the earlier parts of Gandhi's life, when he wasn't even sure if he wanted to be a lawyer, and then he got on that train in South Africa, he got himself kicked off the train, and he was so full of shoulds and should nots and anger and all the feelings that he was generating at the mind level. A little while later, and we find Gandhi loving the people who he was pushing up against at first, understanding that loving everyone was the answer, stopping pushing up against what is, but instead working to change, to make positive change from that place of personal power. That's it. That's all today. Much love to you all. And of course, Kelly and I are here for you at any time. You know, you can get a hold of us via video messenger chat on Facebook. Send us an email, whatever you got to do, a private message. We're here for you. We can talk face to face. Whatever you need, we will help with. All our love today. Namaste. And have a glorious Tuesday.